What up, y'all? So real Wall Watcher, grab binoculars, and I'm back with another player eval, but another video. You feel me? Appreciate y'all for watching that Bright Young video. Y'all already know what it is. My voice back. I'm feeling good. Let's get into it. This is probably one of my favorite prospects after watching him. Mike Green, all elusive tape. I got it. Let's get into it. I know lately with these prospects, I haven't been doing stats, but his stats are so crazy. I got to do them right quick. He is 6'4", 248. I want to say he's around 22, 23 years old, somewhere around there. He did 4 years in college, 1 year at UVA, then transferred after not playing the next year, 2 years at Marshall. Cool. So we only gonna talk about 1 year stats. 81 tackles, 38 solos, 43 assists, but he had 17 sacks, leading all of college football, Division I football, FBS football, with 17 sacks. He had 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, but he also had 21 tackles for loss, which I want to say came second in college football or FBS football for everybody. So he went nuts. Like, he had a historic year. So let's actually get into the stuff that's, breaking down. Let's talk about his strengths. All right, man. So when it comes to the strengths, the first thing we got to talk about, I think is the best part of his game, to be honest. Just amazing bend. Dog, I think with all things considered, dealing with his size, weight, things like that, I think he might be the bendiest player in this draft class. I know Abdul Carter gets lower. He probably ducks under tackles easier. He runs the hoop a little bit easier. But he's also a much lighter and smaller player. This guy is 6'4", 250. Of course, and he's built. Like, he looks like he's 6'4", 250. So, and the way he bends under tackles is just crazy. I mean, he's consistently parallel to the ground. He's consistently dropping his hips, his hands touching the ground while he's running around, guys. Nobody can ever put a hand on him because he's so low. Like I said, just some of the best bend in the class. I don't know if you can say he has the best bend because, like I said, Abdul Carter, he's a different body type. He's much slender. It's easier for guys like that to move. But for him to be as built mass-wise as he is, to have as much bend as he does, I think he is the bendiest. When you kind of like the pound-for-pound type of thing in boxing, I think it's that type of thing. So pound for pound, yeah, this guy might be much smaller, but considering how small he is, he punches way above his weight class. I think, hey, this guy is so big, but because how nimble he is, if he was smaller, he would be even more nimble than he already is. So that's what it comes to when it comes to his bend. I mean, just that's probably the best pass rush trait that he has, and something that you can't necessarily teach. So having that natural bend to be that low already gives him a step up on the offensive tackles at the next level and at his level in the NFL level, all of that stuff. A+ bend, if you ask me. Elite bend, if you ask me. Moving on. Second point goes into this. Great first step. Most of the time, we talked about this with Jalon Walker. Most of the time, or Jalen Walker, I don't know how you say it. Most of the time, these guys are just getting tackled out of position and going past them. So what he does, he gets off explosive in one direction. He's able to swipe, swim, move over the tackle, get around them. And it works in the run game. I've seen him make plenty of splash plays and good stops in the run game while using this. A lot of people hated on Brian Burns, but he's been one of the best run defenders in the league this year, on the edge at least. And that's kind of how he wins. He used that quick first step to swipe and make splash plays in the run game. I see Mike Green do that a lot, but it also, of course, works in the pass game. I mean, if you get a guy off balance, you get a guy out of his stance, kick stepping too far because you're so explosive, it opens up those inside counters, which I've seen Mike Green win on inside counters a couple of times, but also just taking that elite burst and quick step already gets you past the tackle. If my step is getting me further than you are in your first drop, now I also have elite bend. That's what makes him so hard to block, not only at the level that he plays, which is the group of 5 level. I want to say he was in the Sun Belt Conference. But when he played Virginia Tech, they couldn't block him. When he played Ohio State, he didn't have as much true pass rush opportunities because they were running a lot of screens, a lot of quick game, a lot of runs because they just have much more of a dominant offensive line than a group of 5 team would. But when you finally seen him in those true pass rush sets, it was hard for Ohio State to block him. It was a handful for him also. And he got a sack that game. So that elite bend plus that quick first step, that great first step, I'll probably say it's like an A to maybe an A+. So I'll say around an A. Not as fast as a guy like Chop Robinson, nowhere near as fast as that. So maybe it's like an A minus. I don't think he's as fast, quick first step as a bro Abdul Carter either. But he's a step below those guys because his first step is also super, super explosive. A little bit faster than Jelon Walker's is, but super explosive first step. Plus that being super hard to guard. Going into the next thing, he has a good, and this is one of my favorite things when it comes to scouting pass rushers and what I need pass rushers to have. He has a good pass rush plan. Most of the time, he has a plan. Now, one thing I don't have on here is necessarily moves because I think he can add a couple more moves to his repertoire. But the moves that he do have, he always has a plan to set up those moves, and he has the athleticism to complete those moves. But then also, to go into this point, he's also great at countering. He doesn't necessarily have the, hey, this is my one plan, and now after this, I'm just going to, I guess, run into this guy's chest and just play pity-patty, things like that, which a lot of guys do. He has counters to kind of, hey, I'm all right, I already lost this rep. I'm going to try to, hey, engage one more time, then dip below, or I'm going to try to engage and then spin towards the inside. You know, there's other counters in his game. It's not necessarily super refined counters, but the fact that he has a plan doesn't work. He knows now it's time to get to my counter. That is a really, really good high floor as a pass rusher to work with. A guy that already knows, hey, once you're beat, you need to do this. But not only that, hey, you need to have a plan when you go in. And a lot of guys that come out don't have a plan. A lot of guys that don't work out in the NFL don't have a plan. So having a plan consistently every single snap helps him a lot. And also, like I said, being able to get to those counters helps immensely also for his floor as a pass rusher in the next level. So the next thing now I want to discuss is his high motor, which kind of goes into this pass rush plan / counters, mostly the counters. You're never going to see him taking a play off. You're never going to see him give up a big play because he was kind of half-stepping, lazy with it. He's 100% full the whole time. So that high motor makes it so hard to block as an offensive lineman because, once again, you have a plan. You get beat. A lot of guys give up. Okay, but then you have that next upper echelon of guys. Hey, we're going to try to counter. They counter again, and it doesn't work. A lot of guys, hey, I'm out of the play now. Not this guy. He's going to keep going, keep going, keep going. Think of like Max Crosby, how he just consistently tries and tries and tries until it works. That's the same thing I see when I watch Mike Green. Really high motor. Simple as that. Run game and pass rush, it all goes together for that high motor. What you want to see in a player. That's that dog that we be talking about for the Panthers. Keep pounding all that stuff. Dan Morgan, all that talk about dogs. Having a high motor makes you a dog. Now, going into the next point, we're going to start talking about more stuff that has to do with the run game more. I think the first 5 was kind of set up to kind of display how good of a pass rusher he is. But now, this stuff also helps with his pass rush, but it also can help more in the run game. We can talk more about that. So, a powerful punch in his hands, really, really strong hands overall, period. Really good power overall, period. Whether it's power rushing, trying to get a good bull rush off, getting a good pop from a pulling guard. He's able to blow up pulling guards, blow up tight ends. If you put a tight end on him, it's not going to work. He's going to drive that tight end into the backfield, or he's just going to throw that tight end to the side. Even when he was playing Ohio State, they tried to get their tight end to block him. It wasn't working. So, really powerful punch, really powerful hands. Guys snap back whenever he hits them. We talked about it with Jelon Walker, so I don't want to cover that too much. You kind of know what that means. But really, really good power. So, when you have that power on top of that quick first step, on top of that bend in high motor, I mean, bro, at that point, what do you want as a pass rusher? Like I said, he's a built guy. Some people say 250 is small. Maybe. Some people say for some reason 6'4", 250 is small. I don't think it is. But the way that he's built, that muscle mass that he has, plus the athleticism and strength and bend and all that stuff, makes him just a handful, period, to guard, whether it's the run game, whether it's the pass game, all of that stuff. So you like to see his hands be as strong as they are, and that punch be as strong as they are, and that power that he has, he's able to generate from his first step and just his overall strength, period. You like to see that, and that's why he's so good at counters, because, hey, I didn't get a running head start on this counter, but I'm so strong that I can, hey, punch, get up under there, knock you back, and then get up under you with that bend, and now I won that rep. So, great for run defense, great for pass defense. You need that punch. We talked about it, especially for a system like ours. Now, next thing I want to talk about is how high he's a high upside run defender. He's not all the way there yet. Not all the way there yet, which we'll cover later on why exactly that is. But he has super high upside. Like I said, he has those Brian Burns-esque splash plays where he's using that quick first step to get into the backfield and blow up a screen, blow up a toss play, blow up a counter, whatever it is. He's using that swim move to, get off of guys, causing holding penalties, things like that. I can't remember what game it was that he did that on, but I have a clip of that. Very high upside, but then you talk about his power in his hands. As strong as he is, how explosive he is, and how strong his hands are, when you start to refine him and especially for a team like us, we got Jadeveon Clowney, one of the best edge run defenders in the league. DJ Wanham is a pretty good run defender on the edge also. You gain some guys that can refine him, teach him how to use his hands, kind of set the edge better, disengage better, things like that, how to kind of stack and look to where the ball is going while also still being engaged with the offensive lineman. He has really, really high upside as a run defender, so he could be an all three down edge defender if he can get that good coaching, good mentoring into him, you feel me? Because he's still going to make those splash plays regardless. But to be a consistent 20, that's why y'all were so mad at Brian Burns last year, because he wasn't as consistent, but he still had those splash plays. He's been much more consistent this year. Being a consistent threat in the run game, a consistent edge setter, man, plus those splash plays, he might be one of the best run defenders in the league for his size or at the edge outside linebacker position. So, kind of long-winded video. I know I got a lot to say. Next thing I want to talk about, he is a great anchor. It's not too many times. There are some times. It's not too many times where I'm seeing him getting pushed back. I've never seen him get blown off the ball. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. He can get pushed back in certain instances that we'll talk later on. But even versus double teams, which he sees a lot, he's able to hold his ground, whether it's a tight end and tackle or it's a tackle guard. He's able to hold his ground. And like I said, even if he never refines himself as a run game, he'll be a decent enough run defender because he has such a good anchor. So, I mean, even if you want to move him, because they kind of had him playing 3-eye sometimes, 4. It was a weird position that had him put him in between the guard and the tackle. And he was still able to, anchor up whenever they double team, get in his pass rush from that same position. Really good anchor, man. What can I say? Really good anchor. It can be better, but I like his anchor, especially for the size that he has and the mass that he has. So, next thing I want to talk about, and the last thing for the strengths, I don't know how long this video has been. I feel like I've been talking for a minute, but we'll see. He just draws so much attention. Dog. Ohio State consistently had a tight end to chip, consistently had a kind of a fullback motion to kind of knock him out of the play. A lot of times the play went away from him. A lot of times it was quick game. I won't say Ohio State was kind of avoiding letting him get true pass rush sets with traditional dropbacks, because I think they're just a so much better team than Marshall. They don't have to do that. But they did do that a lot. They did do a lot of quick game, running away from him, running up the middle, a lot of screens, RPOs, things to get the ball out quick. I don't have the reason why, but but also, I mean, in the Sun Belt, I think he's in the Sun Belt. I've seen a play where there were 3. They were running a stunt, so maybe that has something to do with it. But even then, I was a guard and a tackle blocking him, but the center was also blocking him. He was getting triple teamed until the center went off and blocked the DT that came off of the stunt. So he consistently draws so much attention, and guess what? That's going to open up your other pass rushers. Say we draft him. We got him. And say it's 3rd and long, right? Say it's 2nd and long, 3rd and long, or 1st and 10. You got him out there. You got Derek Brown. You got Clowney in kind of a stand-up from the 3-4-eye position. And then you got DJ Wanham out there also. Dog, who are you going to double team? If you double team Derek Brown, you're leaving this guy one-on-one. You're also leaving Jadeveon Clowney one-on-one. DJ Wanham is a pretty good pass rusher also. I wouldn't say you have to double him to take him out of the game, but we've seen that he's a pretty good pass rusher also. So you're giving all of these guys one-on-one matchups. Okay, let's say you double him. Derek Brown, he's going to run over whatever guard or center you have on him in one-on-one. Jadeveon Clowney, same thing. He's too fast to be on one-on-one on the inside, especially versus a guard or a center. He's going to be able to dominate that rep. DJ Wanham is on the outside, one-on-one, really good burst off the edge. So that's the kind of dilemma that you have with him, because you're going to have to choose. Do we double Derek Brown? Or if Mike Green, especially if he hits the ceiling, do we double Mike Green? Which one are we going to let go off? Most of the time, they're probably going to pick him once he hits his ceiling, and then that can help Derrick Brown get a little bit more pass rushing production. Also help Clowney, so you won't be the only for sure threat out there. Also help DJ Wanham. But yeah, man, he just draws a lot of attention, dog. Like, I love this guy. But let's get into the stuff that's not necessarily his game before we get into all that. Now, when it comes to stuff that's not necessarily Mike Green's game, I ain't got much. I ain't gonna rap to you. I think, one, he needs to add more moves in general, but specifically more power moves to his game. I didn't see too much of a bull rush or any kind of snatches, things like that, club moves. I think he does a good kind of downward swipe and then dipping under. I think he does a good ghost move. I think he does a lot of good kind of getting the tackle off balance and then bending under with his punch. But I do want to see a little bit more power moves added to his game, kind of like how Khalil Mack added stuff to his game later on in his years. Like right now, he's using so much power to win, and I like that. But where's the perfect place for him to go to learn some stuff like that? Maybe somewhere like Carolina, where you got Jadeveon Clowney, who relies mostly on power and technique to win. DJ Wanham, he's a little bit more of a speed rusher, but also has some good power moves in there too. So we got the infrastructure, or at least mentors, to show him a couple moves and help him coach him up some things like that. Because he has some crazy power. I would love to see him do some double clubs and things like that. Some bull rush into some snatches, different things like that, knocking guys on their butt. But I think he didn't need to add more moves in general. Also, I only seen maybe 3-4 moves, actual moves, not just him bending the corner, which is fine because he's so good at bending the corner that even at the next level with the bending he has, it'll work. But to be a dominant number one pass rusher, I think you need to add a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 more finesse moves. And then, of course, 3, 4, maybe just 3 power moves to, counter off of that. Because everybody knows that you're going to just finesse. They can get that. But then if you start adding power into it, now they're never going to know what's coming at them. But number 2, he got to get better at disengaging. I think he does a good job of using his hands to stack in the run game. I think he needs to get better with separation when stacking so he can see what's going on. And also simply getting off the block. Like, there was plenty of plays, specifically this point comes from the Ohio State game. When he was playing the Sun, because I watched Ohio State, I watched some Virginia Tech, and then I watched 2 Sun Belt games. I want to say it was against University of Louisiana Monroe, and I forgot what the other one was, Southern Miss. So in those games, I think he's discarding guys plenty, but he's way better athletes and a way better player than those tackles and tight ends are. So, but Ohio State, yes, he's getting pushed on a lot of plays. So he's making some splash run plays still. Like I said, regardless, he has high upside as a run defender to be at least okay. But to take that next step, I need to see him get off the block more. There's plenty of times where he got pushed back on 2-3 plays against Ohio State because, one, he's either not using his hands, he's trying to just knife in there, or he's kind of used his hands to get a guy off balance, but instead of discarding them, disengaging, and going to make the tackle, he's kind of still holding on to them, trying to go make the tackle, and now they're driving him back. So get better with disengaging, especially from that Ohio State game. And, dog, you might have a guy that might live in the backfield no matter if it's first, second, third and short, second and short, first and short, long, whatever it is. He might live in the backfield if he can just get better at disengaging. But once again, we have Jadeveon Clowney, so he could be a good mentor for him to kind of get those things in order. You feel me? You're probably going to have a new defensive line coach or a new defensive staff in general, so I can't take much about their ability to develop talent because I don't even know if they're going to be here. I know Eval is, but they said they were looking at maybe making changes throughout the rest of the staff, so they might make some moves. You never know. But just get better at shedding and disengaging overall in the run game, and you'll have one of the better run defenders in the league and in this draft, if you ask me, with the power and all the other stuff I talked about. And just adding more power moves and moves in general, but specifically more power moves. I think he can get away with the 3 speed rush moves that he has now if he adds another 3 power moves or 2 power moves, plus how much his high motor and how many counters he has with the spin and stuff. I think he got enough. But that's all I got for the stuff that's not necessarily his game. Let's get into his player build, you feel me? Now, when it comes to your boy Mike Green's player build, hot takes is coming. For me, I have him as an unblockable prospect. Now, let me explain. When I say that, unblockable, like I said, when you take into account his powerful hands and how much power he has, period, taking into account his quick first step, one of the best first steps in his class, get off is crazy. We've seen how good that is at the next level. You take into account the elite bend that he has, especially for the frame and the body type that he has. He's consistently getting under guys. The somewhat polish he already has to his game and his high motor. Those 4 things, I think, will make him unblockable at the next level if he can hit his ceiling. Now, that's where I say the prospect part, because he still needs to add a couple things to his game before he gets there. We've seen guys who I felt like should have been unblockable at the next level, didn't add the things that they necessarily needed to, and they're still pretty good players, but not necessarily unblockable. That's where I got your boy Mike Green at. He can go one way or he can go the other. I think regardless, he's a pretty high floor serviceable player, but he could be literally an unblockable player at the next level unless you're consistently throwing double teams at him, which opens up the rest of his team. Now, for the shades of, I think the first one I have is Khalil Mack. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. So for me, Khalil Mack, especially first, he's 6'3". He looks exactly like the same build that Mike Green is. He has way bigger muscle mass and things like that. But both of those guys were super big, super powerful, great get off, but super bendy, crazy bend guys. Just the way Khalil Mack consistently bend and got under guys, under tackles, it just made him, once again, unblockable. He's one of the best edge rushers of the past decade. Still one of the better edge rushers in the league as a kind of primarily pass rush only. Kind of like a mercenary. Kind of, hey, you go get this guy to only go after the quarterback. I don't know what I just said. Go after the quarterback, and that's it. Still one of the better guys at that. So I think Mike Green's ceiling is a Khalil Mack level-esque guy. And like I talked about before, Khalil Mack was able to add some power moves into his game later in his career, so he's able to kind of get some different change-ups as his athleticism started to wane and wear down, so that extended and prolonged his career. I think if Mike Green can add those earlier in his career, he has, defensive player of the year type level impact. I mean, Khalil Mack was a defensive player of the year type of guy, but if you can add those earlier in his career within his rookie contract, maybe year 3, 4, you got a guy that could win multiple DPOYs and stuff like that. So really, really, really high ceiling in Khalil Mack. I love that. The second shades of I have is Chop Robinson. I think Chop Robinson immediately came out. I think he had like 7 sacks this year. Immediately came out and made an impact. Y'all know I loved him last year. I was really high on him. Thought he should have been a first-round guy. A lot of people weren't. A lot of people saw a big boom or bust. I didn't. I seen the boom or bust part, but I thought he was closer to being boom than he was bust. You see that elite get off and elite bend that he has just simply translated to the next level. Simple as that. Before he even polishes his game up, like I talked about in the video and got to any of that stuff, that elite bend and elite burst off of the line with his first step and speed to bend the corner, it won him reps enough to get 7 sacks, 6.5 sacks, whatever it is, in his first year as a rookie. You know, and without a lot of help also, because I think Bradley Chubb came back, but he's kind of washed now. Jalen Phillips tried to come back off the Achilles. He's just been, it just hasn't been the same yet. It was really just him out there, low-key. So I think Mike Green can have that same impact in his first year, getting 6.5 sacks, just based off of how great his bend is, how explosive he is off of the line. You can get him 6 sacks in his rookie year. That's great impact. That'll be towards the top of the sack leaders on the Panthers team. I don't know exactly where it would be. You'd probably lead the team in sacks, but that will help your team overall. And also, Chop Robinson had a lot of pressures this year also. He's probably the second most productive defensive lineman that's a rookie behind Jared Verse. So, yeah, really, really good player. I could see that being his rookie year path. We'll see how good Chop Robinson can be. I know I had high expectations for him. Same thing for Mike Green. Last one. This is where the prospect part falls in. I think Kayvon Thibodeau is a really good comp. I felt the same way about Kayvon Thibodeau coming out. I felt like this dude could be unblockable. He has good bend, good dip around the corner. He didn't have as fast speed around the corner and as great of a get off as somebody like Chop Robinson and Mike Green, maybe a step slower, but really strong with his hands. Also was much more active with his hands. He was closer to a power rusher, but still used both. I think Kayvon Thibodeau, he's not done. He can still keep developing, but somewhere, I think he had like 5-6 sacks this season. I think he had like 10 or 9 last year. I think he could be like Kayvon Thibodeau, where regardless, just based off of his physical capabilities, he's going to be able to win, get you 5-6 sacks in a down year. Or overall, as a whole career, I could see him being a 5 to 7 sack guy in his whole career if he needs to. If he doesn't get to the ceiling that he can get to, you feel me? And add the stuff that he needs. Still think he can get you 5 to 7 sacks. Simple as that, just based off his athleticism alone. So, Kayvon Thibodeau also a pretty decent run defender when he gives his effort. I think Mike Green is much higher motor than he has. I'm not saying Kayvon Thibodeau's lazy or anything. I don't think he is. But Mike Green doesn't have a higher motor, things like that. So, that's all I got for y'all, man. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Mike Green. He's probably going to finish as the second best pass rusher on my board for the edge position. But he is going to be lower when it comes to run defense. I think, for me, the top 3 right now, just based off the film I've done, Abdul's 1 easily. Mike Green is 2 as a pass rusher, but lower as a run defender. But as a pass rusher, he's really close to Abdul. Like, they're right there. He's just a little bit below. Because I think Abdul is, like, unblockable today, coming into the league. Like Will Anderson, unblockable levels ASAP. But Mike Green's not too below. Jalen Walker's not that much lower than both of those guys as a pass rusher. I think he's more polished, but he doesn't have the athletic upside that Mike Green does. But he's much more polished coming out immediately. So then, as a run defender, I will put Jalen Walker as one of the better of those 3. But those are my top 3 edge rushers right now. I think I'd have Mike Green 3rd, maybe. Maybe 2nd because of his ceiling. Him and Jelon Walker can flip-flop because I think Jelon Walker has a pretty high ceiling too. I don't know. But I love the guy. Simple as that. I think he's worth, say Abdul goes first or in the top 3, which is very possible. Let's say the Raiders or somebody before us takes Jelon Walker, maybe the Jets or something. Or say we take him. I would be comfortable taking Mike Green at 8. I would think that the Saints, the Bears, somebody like the Falcons, the Dolphins, all of those guys would be cool taking him at 9, 10. I think the Dolphins have like 11 or 12. I think the Falcons have 14, 15. All of those spots would be good Mike Green landing spots. He's not there yet for the general consensus overall draft community. But I think after the Combine, after the Senior Bowl, he's going to shoot up into those top 10 talks. That's why, he's going to shoot up into those talks. And I'm here for it. I would be elated taking him at 8. I'd be elated trading back to 11, 12 and taking him also. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Put up your binoculars, spin the robot watching, you know what it is. Thank y'all for watching the Bryce video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Turn on your post notifications. Watch out for that Patreon because it's probably coming next week. First video is going to be up. It's going to be Malachi Starks. After that, it's going to be Princeton Umalau. I think that's how you say his name. But we out.